A lot of new agents mess this up. Well-meaning agents that want to get results, more results, setting appointments, seeing your prospects in person or working at the door. And it's this: when you're on the phone or you're knocking on the door, don't sell the product, sell the appointment. You see, ladies and gentlemen, when you're selling final expense, there's something about being inside at the kitchen table in the prospect's home that allows you to get into a presentation and to explain things in more detail without as much suspicion as you will receive if you're selling or if you're at the phone or in person at the door trying to sell the product. So let me give you an example of what I mean. So a lot of the times when you're setting an appointment or you're at the door and you're doing your script, the client's going to say something like, well, how much does this cost? You can't give them that information. Not because if you do, you'll just lose a sale, because anytime you give a price too early, there's not room for value. The other issue with giving price too early is you just don't know if the client can even qualify for what it is that you're selling. You don't know anything about their health. You don't know anything about what it is they're trying to accomplish. And you offering a price is selling them short. So what do you do when you hear an objection like price? You can't sell the product and create a price. So what do? Well, you have to observe that what you're hearing at the door is pushback in the sense of just sales resistance. They're not necessarily interested in getting the price right now. They're just worried. The prospect is just worried about being in an awkward sales presentation where they may feel pressure to buy something that they're not 100% sure that they can commit to. And of course they feel this way. You're showing up at their house or calling them unannounced. They don't know who you are. They don't have a relationship with you. They're going to offer some resistance. It's normal, it's expected, and you shouldn't act as if you're surprised, especially in today's age. People are suspicious of strangers, so they're going to have some pushback. But the thing is, and the thing you got to do, is you have to be prepared to overcome that natural resistance against a fear or suspicion. And the way that you do it is you sell the appointment, because that's ultimately the fear they're seeing. It's not that I don't know if I can afford this, it's I don't know who you are and I don't want to waste my time. So one of the things we do at the door or when we're setting the appointment is we say, whatever they say, it's about price, it's about I'm busy. It's generally the same thing. It's what we call the ask method. We answer the objection, we sell the appointment, and then we close to get into the door to set the appointment. So it sounds something like this. Yeah, what's the price? How much does this cost? Hey, good question, Mrs. Prospect. All I need is 5 minutes for me to show you how this program works, and what you decide to do with it is entirely up to you. Why don't we sit out in the porch, or should I come in? So what did I do here? I didn't address the price. I complimented her and said, that's a good question. And then I went into selling why we need to do the appointment. My job is just to deliver this information. What you do with it's entirely up to you. So I sell them on, hey, I'm just doing my job. It just takes 5 minutes. Sometimes I'll insert that in. And then I say, what you do with it's up to you. It's a great way to say there's no obligation. You don't have to buy from me. There's no risks, right? Because that's what people are worried about. And then the closing technique is, do you want to sit out in the porch or should I come in? And so I'll offer them a yes to the porch or a yes to coming in. If I'm on the phone, everything I said in that script would be the same except the close. I would offer 2 different appointments. Should I come over at 2 o'clock or does 10 work better? Do you say yes to this time or do you say yes to that time? Notice I'm framing the question where yes is the only answer, and I'm going to get more appointments booked. And I'm going to get into more doors by doing that. Very valuable lesson. But as soon as I start saying, well, you know, the price, it can be as low as $2, it can be as high as $200. It's just going to depend on me asking you some health questions and then showing you how these whole life programs work, that rates never go. At this point, they don't trust you because they're feeling sold. It's funny. They kind of, by asking that question, are asked to be sold, but because they don't know who you are at the door or on the phone, they're going to be much more sensitive to the fact that you're appearing to sell them and then shut you down that much more. So we have to just bypass that and understand that we're speaking not to the spoken objection, which many times is just a smokescreen. We're speaking to the unspoken objection of just general sales resistance, okay? Setting appointments by phone, that is optional. You don't have to set appointments by phone to be successful selling final expense in person. It certainly helps. There's an argument to be made with efficiency. If you wake up the next morning, you got 3, 4, 5 plus appointments booked, that's a cool thing. And in some sense, like what we do at the Ford Insurance Group, we outsource the appointment setting to some degree. We have several appointment setters that will take an agent's leads and set appointments for them. So appointment setting is something you don't have to do, but there is one strategy you absolutely have to do if you want to have long-term success in this business, and that is knocking on the door. There is no way, with the lack of people picking up the phone these days, that you can exclusively rely on appointment setting to run your final expense business. In other words, to get the most out of every dollar you invest in your final expense leads, you have to door knock your prospects, especially the ones that never pick up the phone, which sometimes can be a quarter to up to a half of the leads if you're even working the better leads. And the other thing too is that by door knocking, you are putting yourself in the position to not only speak to more people, because some people just will never answer the phone, but people at the door are more forgiving, they're more understanding, they're more civil than they are over the phone exclusively. Again, I was talking to an agent earlier, Alec. He started in the business with another IMO selling over the phone, did not like it, very impersonal, very frustrating experience. But as soon as he transitioned with us, he realized that face-to-face was his thing. And he found that by door knocking his clients and seeing people in person, that people were way more forgiving. They didn't push back nearly as much. And it was a much more positive experience. And he talked to more people and got more sales because of it than just relying on telesales. Not that telesales is a failed model at all, but there is definitely a difference. And for the face-to-face agent, door knocking provides a unique opportunity to convert more of your leads into appointments than what you would ever get by simply dialing over the phone. So bottom line, door knocking your leads, not cold door knocking, but door knocking your leads is non-negotiable. You have to do that if you're going to have any semblance of success in this business.